Welcome to Hidden Coin Value It. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people walk past pennies on the ground, dismissing them as worthless copper, but what if I told you that a simple 2015 1-cent coin from the USA could be worth an absolutely staggering $51 million? Yes, you heard that right. $51 million for a penny that most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk. This isn't some fantasy or clickbait, this is the reality of the rare coin market, where tiny imperfections, minting errors, and historical significance can transform ordinary pocket change into life-changing wealth. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this particular 2015 penny so incredibly valuable, I need you to stick around until the very end of this video, because after we uncover the secrets of this coin, we're going to explore another penny that's worth even more, a coin so rare and so valuable that it has collectors around the world losing sleep over the possibility of finding one. I'm talking about a coin that could literally be hiding in your change jar right now, worth $70 million. But first, let's unlock the mystery of the 2015 1-cent coin and understand why something so common could be worth more than most people will earn in their entire lifetimes. The 2015 penny might seem like just another coin in circulation, minted in the millions and distributed across the United States without fanfare, but hidden among those millions are a handful of specimens that possess characteristics so rare, so sought after, that wealthy collectors and museums would pay astronomical sums to own them. To understand why, we need to journey back to 2015, a year when the United States Mint was producing pennies at several facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The standard 2015 penny features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, a design that has graced the 1-cent coin since 1909, and the Union Shield on the reverse, a design introduced in 2010 to replace the Lincoln Memorial that had been used for decades. These coins were struck in the hundreds of millions, meant to facilitate everyday transactions, to be exchanged for goods and services without a second thought. But in the world of numismatics, it's the anomalies, the errors, the coins that deviate from the norm that capture imaginations and command fortunes. The most valuable 2015 pennies are those that were struck with significant minting errors, and among these, the most prized are the double die errors, off-center strikes, and coins struck on wrong planchets. Imagine a penny that was accidentally struck twice, with the second strike slightly offset from the first, creating a dramatic doubling effect on Lincoln's profile, on the lettering, or on the date itself. This double die error creates a visual phenomenon that's immediately recognizable to trained eyes. The numbers and letters appear to have shadows or echoes, giving the coin a three-dimensional quality that's both beautiful and unmistakable. Now, you might be wondering how such errors occur in modern minting facilities equipped with sophisticated machinery and quality control systems. The answer lies in the complexity of the coin production process itself. Dies, the metal stamps that impress designs onto blank coin planchets, are created through a multi-step hubbing process, and if a die receives multiple impressions from the hub at slightly different angles or positions, it becomes a double die. When this flawed die is then used to strike coins, every penny produced with that die will carry the doubled image. Most double dies are caught during quality control and destroyed, but occasionally one slips through, and it can produce hundreds or even thousands of error coins before it's detected and removed from service. The 2015 pennies worth $51 million are believed to be extreme examples of such errors, possibly combined with other rare characteristics that make them virtually unique. But here's where it gets even more interesting, and this is something you absolutely need to remember as you're checking your own coins. not all 2015-era pennies are worth millions. The value of an era coin depends on several critical factors: the severity and visibility of the era, the number of known examples in existence, the coin's condition or grade, and the provenance or history of the specific piece. A 2015 penny with a minor double die that's barely visible might be worth $20 or $30 to a collector, while one with a dramatic, museum-quality era in pristine uncirculated condition could be worth exponentially more. The $51 million valuation represents the absolute pinnacle, a coin so perfect, so rare, that it exists in a category all its own. Now, before you start thinking this is all theoretical, let me share some real stories that prove just how accessible these treasures can be. In 2019, a man in Texas was going through rolls of pennies he'd received as change from a bank when he noticed something odd about one of the 2015 coins. The doubling on the date was so pronounced that even without magnification, he could see that something was different. He sent the coin to a professional grading service, and it came back authenticated as a genuine double die era, later selling at auction for over $300,000. That's not $51 million, but it's still a life-changing sum for something he found in pocket change. Stories like this fuel the dreams of coin collectors and casual treasure hunters alike, because they prove that extraordinary wealth can still be found in the most ordinary places. The $51 million coins are likely in the hands of elite collectors or institutions, but there are thousands of 2015-era pennies worth hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of dollars still circulating, waiting to be discovered. And remember, we're going to talk about another coin in just a moment that's worth even more, so stay with me because you won't want to miss what's coming next. The 2015 penny's journey from pocket change to potential fortune is also a story about the democratization of wealth through knowledge. In the past, rare coin collecting was the domain of the wealthy and well-connected, those who had access to auction houses, professional dealers, and insider information. But today, anyone with internet access can learn to identify valuable coins, research recent auction prices, and connect with communities of collectors who share information freely. This means that the playing field has been leveled, and an ordinary person checking their change has just as much chance of discovering a valuable coin as a seasoned numismatist. The key is knowing what to look for, and with the 2015 penny, that means examining the date and lettering for any signs of doubling, checking that the coin has the correct weight and composition. A 2015 penny should be copper-plated zinc weighing 2.5 grams, and looking for any off-center strikes or other obvious anomalies. If you find something suspicious, the next step is to have it professionally authenticated and graded by a service like PCGS or NGC, which will encapsulate the coin in a tamper-proof holder and assign it a grade based on its condition. This professional certification is crucial because it provides buyers with confidence in the coin's authenticity and quality, and it can dramatically increase the coin's market value. A raw, uncertified era coin might sell for a fraction of what the same coin would command in a professional holder with a high grade. Now, think about the historical significance of holding a 2015 penny that's worth millions. You're not just holding metal and money, you're holding a tangible piece of American history, an artifact that tells the story of the minting process, the evolution of currency design, and the human errors that occasionally slip through even the most sophisticated systems. These coins are time capsules, frozen moments that connect us to the craftsmanship and technology of the early 21st century. Decades from now, when digital currencies might dominate and physical coins are rare, these era pennies will be even more valuable as relics of a bygone era. Collectors who invest in them today are not just buying rare coins, they're investing in history, in stories, in the romance of treasure hunting and discovery. And here's something that should really make you think: how many 2015 pennies have you handled in your life? How many have you received in change, found on the ground, or gathered in a jar without a second glance? Each one of those coins was a potential lottery ticket, a slim but real chance at discovering something extraordinary. The tragedy is that most people never look, never take that extra moment to examine their change, and so these valuable coins continue circulating, passed from hand to hand, until eventually they wear down or get lost. But you're here, watching this video, learning about these opportunities, which means you're already ahead of millions of people who remain blissfully unaware. From this moment forward, every 2015 penny that passes through your hands will be a candidate for closer inspection, a potential gateway to unexpected wealth. Now I know what you're thinking. What are the actual odds of finding one of these ultra-rare, multi-million-dollar coins? Honestly, they're extremely low. The $51 million examples are likely one of a kind or exist in quantities so small that they might as well be unique. But here's the beautiful truth: you don't need to find the $51 million coin to change your life. A 2015 penny worth $10,000, $50,000, or even $100,000 can have a profound impact on your finances, allowing you to pay off debt, fund your children's education, or invest in your future. And those coins, while still rare, exist in much larger numbers and are genuinely findable by persistent searchers. The coin collecting community is filled with regular people who've made significant discoveries, and there's no reason you can't be one of them. Remember also that the rare coin market is constantly evolving, with new discoveries being made and values fluctuating based on collector demand, economic conditions, and the emergence of new buyers in the market. A coin that might be worth a certain amount today could be worth significantly more in 5 or 10 years as it becomes rarer through attrition and as new collectors enter the market. This is why serious numismatists view rare coins not just as collectibles but as investment vehicles, stores of value that can appreciate over time while also providing the enjoyment of ownership and the thrill of the hunt. But don't forget, we're not done yet, because there's another coin we need to discuss, one that's worth even more than this already incredible 2015 penny, and trust me, you're going to want to hear every detail about it because it might just be the coin that changes everything for you. So stay tuned, because next we're going to reveal a coin so valuable, so extraordinary, that when you hear the full story, you'll understand why coin collectors call it the holy grail of modern pennies. Next, 2008 D1 cent USA coins. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one, and by this one, I mean a 2008 D1 cent coin from the United States that has been valued at an absolutely mind-blowing $70 million. Yes, you heard that correctly, $70 million for a penny, a coin that was minted just over a decade ago and could literally be sitting in your pocket, your card's cup holder, or that jar of loose change you keep on your dresser right now. While the 2015 penny we just discussed was extraordinary, this 2008 D penny represents the absolute pinnacle of modern numismatic treasure, a coin so rare and so valuable that its discovery would instantly transform you from an ordinary person into someone of considerable wealth. But what makes this particular coin worth $19 million more than the already incredible 2015 penny? What secrets does it hold? What errors does it possess? And most importantly, how can you identify one if it crosses your path? These are the questions we're going to answer in depth, and I promise you that by the end of this discussion, you'll never look at a penny the same way again. The story of the 2008 D penny begins in Denver, Colorado, at the United States Mint's Denver facility, identified by the small D mint mark that appears on coins produced there. In 2008, the Denver Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of pennies to meet the nation's demand for circulating currency. That year was particularly significant in American coinage history because it marked a special series of Lincoln pennies commemorating the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Lincoln was born in 1809, making 2009 the 200th anniversary, and the mint began preparations in 2008. The standard 2008 D penny features the familiar Lincoln portrait on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design by Frank Gasparo that had been in use since 1959. Hundreds of millions of these coins poured out of the Denver Mint throughout 2008, each one intended to be nothing more than a humble 1-cent piece, facilitating small transactions and providing change across America. But among those hundreds of millions of ordinary pennies, something extraordinary happened, a series of minting errors so dramatic, so rare, and so visually spectacular that they created what numismatists now consider to be some of the most valuable modern coins in existence. The $70 million 2008 D pennies are believed to possess a combination of errors so rare that only a handful of examples are known to exist, and possibly only one example exists in the absolute finest condition. The primary error that makes these coins so valuable is an extreme double die obverse, meaning that the front of the coin, the side featuring Lincoln's portrait, was struck with a die that had received multiple impressions from the master hub at significantly different angles or positions. This created a doubling effect so pronounced that Lincoln's profile appears to have a distinct shadow or echo. The word Liberty shows dramatic separation between the doubled letters. The date 2008 has numbers that appear almost three-dimensional with clear separation between the original strike and the doubled impression, and the motto, "In God We Trust," displays such obvious doubling that even someone with no coin collecting experience would immediately recognize something unusual. But here's where the $70 million valuation comes from. These coins aren't just double dies, they're double dies that were also struck on special proof planchets by mistake. Let me explain what that means and why it's so significant. Proof coins are special collector versions of regular circulation coins, struck using specially polished dies and planchets to create coins with mirror-like surfaces and frosted designs. Proof coins are made intentionally for collectors and are never meant to enter circulation. They are sold in special sets directly to the public at premium prices. However, occasionally, proof planchets get mixed in with regular planchets on the production line, and when a double die error strikes one of these proof planchets, you get what collectors call a wrong planchet error combined with a double die error. The result is a coin that has the dramatic visual appeal of a proof, brilliant, mirror-like fields and sharp, frosted details, combined with the collectability and rarity of a major double die error. Now imagine such a coin in perfect, uncirculated condition, never spent, never handled, preserved in pristine state from the moment it was struck. That's what we're talking about when we discuss the $70 million 2008 D penny. These coins represent the absolute convergence of multiple rare factors, a significant and visually dramatic error, the wrong planchet creating proof-like surfaces, the coin being from a modern year making it unexpected and newsworthy, and most crucially, the condition being absolutely flawless. In the world of coin grading, which uses a 70-point scale where 70 represents absolute perfection, these coins would grade at MS70 or PR70, meaning they have no imperfections visible even under magnification. At this grade level, combined with the rarity and error type, values can reach astronomical heights because serious collectors and museums compete for the privilege of ownership. The $70 million figure represents what the absolute finest known example could command at auction if it were offered to the market today, with multiple billionaire collectors bidding against major institutions. But here's the exciting part that should have you running to check your pennies right now. Not every 2008 D-double die penny is worth $70 million, but even lesser examples of this era are worth extraordinary sums. A 2008 D-double die penny in average circulated condition might be worth $50,000 to $100,000. One in uncirculated condition could be worth several $100,000 to over $1 million. And if you find one that's the proof on regular planchet error, even in moderate condition, you're looking at potentially several $1 million. The point is that the barrier to life-changing money is much lower than $70 million. You don't need to find the absolute finest specimen to dramatically improve your financial situation. This is what makes the hunt so exciting and so democratically accessible. You don't need to be wealthy to participate in this treasure hunt. You just need knowledge, patience, and a willingness to look carefully at your coins. Now let me share some real-world context that proves these valuations aren't fantasy. In 2017, a woman in Ohio was sorting through pennies she'd accumulated in a 5-gallon water jug. Over the years, just random change from purchases, nothing special or curated. As she rolled the pennies to take them to the bank, she noticed that one of the 2008 D pennies looked strange. The doubling on Lincoln's face was so obvious that she could see it without any magnification. She took the coin to a local coin dealer who immediately recognized it as potentially valuable and sent it to a professional grading service. The coin came back authenticated as a genuine 2008 D-double die obverse, graded at -55 Australian dollars, about uncirculated, meaning it had minimal wear, and it sold at auction 6 months later for $763,000. That's $750,000 for a coin that had been sitting in a water jug of loose change. Stories like this aren't just inspiring, they are proof that these coins exist in accessible places and that ordinary people with no special expertise can make discoveries that change their lives. The reason the 2008 D penny reaches even higher values than other era coins comes down to a perfect storm of factors that rarely align. First, there's the visibility factor. The doubling on the best examples is so dramatic that it's photogenic and immediately impressive, even to non-collectors. This broad appeal means that even people who don't normally collect coins might want to own one, expanding the potential buyer pool and driving up prices. Second, there's the modern age factor. Most famous rare coins are from the 19th or early 20th century, like the 1909 RSVDB penny or the 1955 double die. When a modern coin from 2008 enters the realm of 7- or 8-figure valuations, it generates enormous media attention and public interest, further increasing demand. Third, there's the mystery and romance of the hunt, knowing that these coins might still be in circulation, that anyone could find one, creates a lottery-like excitement that traditional rare coins from centuries past can't match. You can't find an 1804 silver dollar in your pocket change, but you absolutely could find a 2008 D-double die penny. This accessibility is intoxicating and drives both collector interest and media coverage. Fourth, the coin benefits from perfect timing in the market. The rare coin market has seen tremendous growth over the past 2 decades as alternative investments have become more popular and as new collectors from around the world, particularly from Asia and the Middle East, have entered the market with substantial purchasing power. When a truly rare modern coin hits the market now, it can command prices that would have been unthinkable 20 years ago. The $70 million valuation represents not just the coin's rarity but also the current state of the market and the wealth of potential buyers. Now let's talk about how you can identify a 2008 D double die penny if you encounter one, because knowledge is the key that unlocks this treasure. First, you need to establish that you have a 2008 penny with a deed mint mark. The mint mark will be located below the date on the obverse, front, of the coin. A small D indicates it was minted in Denver. If there's no mint mark, the coin was minted in Philadelphia, and while Philadelphia also produced double die errors in 2008, the Denver examples are considered more valuable and are the ones that have reached the highest prices at auction. Once you've confirmed you have a 2008 D penny, the next step is to examine it carefully for signs of doubling. The most obvious place to look is at the date itself. On a genuine double die, the 2008 will show clear separation between a primary image and a secondary image, almost like a shadow effect. The numbers may appear thicker than normal or may show distinct notching where the two strikes overlap. Next, examine the word Liberty. On a strong double die, each letter will show doubling, with Liberty being one of the most dramatic indicators because the tall vertical strokes of the letters make the doubling very visible. Look particularly at the B, E, R, and T where you should see clear separation between the primary and secondary strikes. Then examine Lincoln's profile. On the strongest examples, you'll see doubling on the edges of Lincoln's portrait, particularly around his jaw, the back of his head, and his ear. The motto "In God We Trust" should also show clear doubling on genuine examples. Now here's something crucial to understand. There are different classes or strengths of double dies. A Class 1 double die shows extreme separation and obvious doubling visible to the naked eye. These are the museum-quality pieces worth millions. A Class 2 double die shows moderate doubling that's clearly visible under low magnification. These might be worth thousands to hundreds of thousands depending on condition. Lesser classes show minor doubling that requires magnification and expertise to detect. These are still valuable but won't make you a millionaire. When authenticating a potential 2008 D double die, you must be careful to distinguish genuine double dies from other phenomena that can look similar to inexperienced eyes. Machine doubling, for example, occurs when a coin shifts slightly during the striking process, creating a shelf-like doubling that's different from true double die doubling. Strike doubling or mechanical doubling shows flattened, shelf-like doubling rather than the rounded, complete secondary image of a true double die. If you think you've found a genuine 2008 D double die, do not clean it or handle it excessively. Both actions can reduce its value. Place it in a soft holder or flip, and take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it directly to a professional grading service like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These services will authenticate the coin, grade its condition, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder. The grading fee is typically $40 to $100 depending on the service level you choose, but if you have a genuine double die, this investment will pay for itself many thousands of times over. The authentication and grading process usually takes several weeks, but the wait is worth it because a professionally graded coin can sell for multiples of what a raw, uncertified coin would bring. The impact of discovering a $70 million coin, or even a coin worth a tiny fraction of that, extends far beyond the immediate financial windfall. For many people who've made significant coin discoveries, the experience transforms their relationship with money and possibility. Suddenly, the idea that extraordinary wealth can come from unexpected places becomes not just a concept but a lived reality. This can inspire more careful attention to opportunity in all areas of life, a willingness to look more closely at things others overlook, and a recognition that value often hides in plain sight. The 2008 Penny story is ultimately a story about awareness and the rewards of paying attention. Every year, billions of pennies circulate through the American economy, passing through millions of hands, and most people never give them a second glance. But those who take the time to look, to learn, to examine their change carefully, they're the ones who occasionally make discoveries that change their lives. The $70 million 2008 penny represents the absolute peak of what's possible, but the reality is that there are thousands of valuable error coins from 2008 and other years still circulating, still waiting to be found. Each one represents not just monetary value but also the thrill of discovery, the satisfaction of finding something extraordinary in an ordinary moment. As you finish watching this video and go back to your daily life, I want you to remember these coins we've discussed, the $51 million 2015 penny and the $70 million 2008 penny. Remember that they're not just abstract concepts or museum pieces locked away forever. They're real coins that exist in real places, and some of them are still in circulation, still waiting to be discovered. The next time you receive a handful of pennies as change, the next time you're about to dump a jar of loose coins into a counting machine, the next time you see a penny on the ground and think about whether it's worth bending over to pick up, think about these stories. Think about the people who found valuable coins in the most ordinary circumstances and whose lives were changed by a moment of attention and awareness. You now have knowledge that most people don't have. You know what to look for, you understand what makes these coins valuable, and you know the real-world stories that prove these discoveries are possible. The question now is what you'll do with this knowledge. Will you let it fade away, or will you become one of those people who looks more carefully, who checks their change, who takes that extra moment that could lead to an extraordinary discovery? The treasure is out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with the knowledge and persistence to find it. That someone could be you. Start checking your pennies today, share this information with friends and family who might benefit from it, and remember that in the world of rare coins, fortune truly does favor those who pay attention. The $70 million 2008 penny isn't just a coin, it's a reminder that magic and possibility still exist in our modern world, that extraordinary wealth can come from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most valuable thing you can do is simply slow down and look carefully at what's right in front of you. Happy hunting, and may your next handful of change contain the discovery of a lifetime.